Hello.
Hi.
You're not Will.
No.
Today we're talking about oversaturation in comic books.
And exhaustion.
You just like the word exhaustion.
I'm tired.
So, this is your topic, because I'm not bright enough to come up with one.
Yes, this is... Well, not yes that you're not bright enough, but yes that this is my topic. I would like to discuss the oversaturation of comic books and how that I'm just really tired of buying all of them and reading them because they're really not that great. I'm the guy who goes to the store every week, has a pull list, and then looks at the shelf anyway and says, no, I'm going to buy a bunch of titles I know aren't ultimately going to be that good, but I'm going to be hopeful because the cover is really cool. I'm that guy.
Well, you at least flip through on the inside to make sure it's not the same. Make sure it's the same artist, at least.
Here's the thing, I know the scam. I know that like 95% of Marvel's covers have nothing to do with their interior. They're usually just cash grabs, revealing, something that'll happen 10 issues from the actual issue that the cover is on. But for whatever reason, I just gravitate towards it. Or I'll get really excited over some press junket that they'll run, and then I'll be like, oh, I'm going to read it. And then I'll read it, and I'll be like, this is so stupid. I can't wait for it to reset in another 8 months.
Now, you used to have a giant pull list.
Yeah, I went from having like close to 40 books. It was ridiculous. But a lot of them were like mini-series or like limited series, independent titles, as well as DC and Marvel. But right now I think there's less than 10 books on my list, and I haven't picked up in 3 weeks. So I reread Trillium the other day. Jeff Lemire's Trillium. If you haven't read it, you should read it because it's great.
I haven't read it.
It's really, really good. And that's kind of what I want to talk to more than anything, is that I find myself gravitating towards books that have better talent associated with them, but not even that the talent is good, but the talent has freedom to do whatever they want. So that's not always a good thing, because, if you're Grant Morrison and you do whatever you want in the DC universe, you get things like Action Comics. You also get things, like Batman and Son, but hit or miss, really. What I'm getting at is...
Please, get to it.
Yeah. Publishers need to let creators do what they want, and things need to have long-term effects in the universes that they happen.
Okay.
That's it.
But okay.
What I'm saying is, if publishers are going to flood the market with a decent amount of books about one character, and they keep changing the status quo of the character, just commit. Just commit to the status quo. So if you're going to make Otto Octavius Spider-Man, don't have him be Peter Parker by the time the next movie comes out. Especially if fans really like Superior.
What's that have to do with saturation?
There's Superior Foes of Spider-Man, Superior Spider-Man Team-Up, and I think a fourth book.
Right, but even if they had one Superior Spider-Man book, they would still rush that arc.
Oh no, I know that the arc would be rushed, but what I'm saying is it's even more rushed and annoying because it's across 4 books.
Right.
And it's harder to keep the narrative of 4 books consistent as it is, let alone when you keep shifting that.
So you're saying they have all those books because they didn't have enough time to tell the story, so they spread it out amongst
Absolutely, because one of the best reviewed titles was Superior Spider-Man Team-Up, where it was Dr. Otto Octavius as Spider-Man teaming up with various Marvel people. And apparently, I never read it because I didn't want to. It was really good because it showcased how different his personality was, which was something that was never really touched upon that much in the main title because there were so many other things going on, because they had to fit 3 years worth of story into 9 months, however long he was Spider-Man, whatever. My point, if I even have one at this point, is just knock it off, or I'm done.
Pause. Resume. It sounded like you were upset that there were so many comic books.
Yes.
Are you upset that there's so many comic books and most of them are bad because there are so many?
Yes and no. I think it's not an issue of quantity. Actually, it is. It's 100% an issue of quantity as much as it is quality. That publishers are rushing books that have characters they know will sell, and they don't really care about the quality of the book because they rely on that character's brand. So That's why Wolverine is in like 3 Avengers books, 4 X-Men books, and his own book, makes appearance in other people's books. It's just because they know it's Wolverine and he's going to sell and people like it.
And they do this closer to the movies.
Definitely.
Also, yeah.
And, DC's guilty of this too, but DC can be a little ballsier. Actually, I will give Marvel credit. They actually did something really weird with Iron Man when the last movie came out, which was pretty cool. And DC did something really weird with Batman when The Dark Knight came out, which
you
was
mean like
cool.
the story?
The comics,
story
yeah.
was weird?
Yeah, like Iron Man was very weird. He was in like space and has an adopted brother who's like a robot or something. It's very strange.
I'm cool with that.
Very strange.
My adopted brother's a robot.
But it's very cool to see publishers take risks like that, and they don't do it enough.
I have noticed that Marvel, they will totally just randomize their their release dates for comic books.
There is no order.
Super annoying. Like
There's no
DC,
order.
it's the same week every month.
There's like 4 weeks, and each book falls into like that week. Sometimes if there's an event, it'll ship twice a month, or it'll get delayed or something. But it's relatively close.
Yeah.
Marvel's kind of like, as soon as you're done, give me it. I'm not even gonna read it. I'm just gonna print it.
I know. When I used to read Spider-Man before the whole show happened, they would be monthly, and then all of a sudden they would ship like 3 in a month, like one every other week, and then it'd be monthly again. So if I was picking them up every month, and I would pick it up, I'd be like 4 issues behind.
I think
was super annoying.
I think the problem with like oversaturation is tied back to comic book publishers wanted to turn out a product as quickly as possible, regardless of the quality. So there's a .1 series right now out for Spider-Man written by Dan Slott. I am notorious for hating Dan Slott, but this .1 series is great. It's taking a really long time to come out, but the art, Ramon Perez is the illustrator on it. He's remarkable, and Dan Slott is actually doing a really good job of filling in the spaces between the early issues of Spider-Man. So I don't mind that there's a miniseries, another Spider-Man miniseries running parallel to the main series, because it justifies its existence with quality.
Did you just say something good about Dan Slott?
I did.
It's amazing.
I will also say that I think I read a lot of the Superior stuff, mostly all of it. I think I'm missing like 6 issues of it, but it wasn't awful. It just needed more time. And I don't know if it would have been good if it had more time, but I think it would have been better.
I just hated the whole idea.
It was a dumb idea.
It was a really dumb idea.
It's a really stupid idea. But the characterization was interesting enough to sustain it, but it was too rushed. And that goes back to my point of flooding the market with a number of books with recognizable characters because you want to make money, because the comic aspect of your comic book business is dying and your movie aspect is booming.
Right. A lot of comic book writers now will write comics for movies.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's like what happens.
Like they're expecting it to end up to be a movie. I think the guy who wrote Kick-Ass.
Mark Miller, yeah.
Yes.
100%.
He said that all of his comics now are pretty much just elaborate movie pitches.
Mark Miller is good as often as he is bad. But when he's good, he's very good. I think that people just need to worry about one thing at a time. Worry about making a good comic book before you worry about making 5 good comic books. Worry about writing a good script before you worry about making a good movie. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. Bottom line?
Yes, bottom line.
I'm tired of buying so many comic books. I don't see worth in it anymore. And I'm probably going to make the switch to digital because it's not worth my time to go pick up books.
You have been fighting the digital switch for a long time.
I have, but now
I've been gung-ho for the digital switch.
I have like 12 long boxes of comics filled, and I still need more, and I just don't have the space, and I don't want to keep buying books that aren't good. Even though I'm going to be buying them digitally, I can delete them if I don't like them, and that's a greater feeling of satisfaction.
And you commute. Have you ever read a comic on the train?
I read one comic that I was so excited about on the train, and it got ruined, so I had to buy a new one.
Did it get ruined in your bag?
It got ruined in my bag.
I think the heat from my laptop does something.
I don't even have a laptop in my bag.
If I'm going to read a comic on the train, I keep a comic in a separate laptop hard shell case that I have. So I have an entire like laptop case
For one
just
comic.
for the one comic book.
The one comic that I read on the train that is worth reading, even though it's only like 2 issues out now, Low by Rick Remender. Rick Remender is awesome, and you should read Deadly Class too, because it's great.
Stop buying so many comic books, and then maybe they'll get the hint.
Stop buying them and just read them.
Actually, don't listen to me. Comics are hurting. Buy a lot of comic books.
Buy comics, but make sure you're
They're good
smart
ones.
about the ones you buy.
Yes. Don't just buy a million Wolverines.
Don't buy anything with recognizable characters on the cover. Like, don't buy issue 34 of Miss Marvel, who has Wolverine on the cover.
Yeah, unless it's by a good writer.
Which it probably will not be.
Right. So what do you guys think about oversaturation comic books? Have you read any really comics lately?
Yes.
Leave it in the comments below. Add us on Twitter. You can add him instead of my brother.
At Mike Ventimiglia.
Oh, my brother wasn't here this week because he's dead. He died. R.I.P.
Rest in peace. He's actually traveling through time, like Batman in Grant Morrison's
Oh, is he?
story. He's
Okay.
a pilgrim right now.
Oh, okay. And then next week he'll be a pirate. Thank you very much. Have a good week.
Goodbye.
But the bigger controversy comes from this variant cover by Milo Morana, an Italian comic book artist known for his erotic work. His most famous work is the comic book Click, which is just porn. It's porn. Like, I can't even show you the cover because you see vagina on it.
But the best battles are the ones that are lightsabers only. In my opinion, this was the last game to get Force abilities and lightsaber battles right. The Force Unleashed came close, but not quite. And we don't talk about the Force Unleashed 2.